Hello, everybody. Hello, Dr. Nick. I'm not Dr. Nick, but I am Spencer with S7 Wellness, and welcome to my little podcast. And today I'm going to give you some value. So I paid thousands of dollars to be at a recent conference for business owners. Yes, thousands of dollars. The tickets were pricey. The hotel it was in was pricey, and the food there was pricey. Ended up spending thousands of dollars, but I went to improve. I went to learn how to better serve my clients, and that's what it was about. It was how to build your business and how to better serve. So that's what they talked a lot about, is how to better serve. I'm a coach, so how do I better serve my current and future S7 Wellness clients? And what I'm mainly going to talk about today is something I got from seeing Tony Robbins live, which in itself was absolutely amazing. That man has so much passion. Now, I've followed him on YouTube for years. I've watched probably all Tony Robbins YouTube videos. I listen to his podcast. He doesn't post that many, but when he does, I listen to it. I open it up and play it. Follow him on Facebook. I listen to all words Tony Robbins says on all social media apps. But listening to him or being, feet away from him, because we had great seats. We were sitting right up front and he was walking in the crowd. It was 10x more. I don't even know how to describe it or what word to use, but you can't play a YouTube video and get the same experience. It was 10x more than that. The man is one of the most passionate people I've ever been around. You could feel his passion. It's not his words, because I can watch his YouTube video and I'm like, yeah, he's passionate. But then when you see him live, like, whoa, no, this guy is very passionate. His net worth, he's worth billions of dollars now. And so it blew me away that he has kids. He has a little kid right now, a little baby, I think. He has, kids, a little baby, a wife, multiple homes, and one of his homes is on an island or a resort, and he's worth billions of dollars. He didn't have to be there. Not only that, Tony Robbins was contracted for a 3-hour talk. He went 6 hours. He doubled it, just because. And I was sitting on the edge of my seat the entire 6 hours. So how can somebody talk for 6 hours and keep you going? Well, that man can do it. And I'm going to give you some things that he talked about that I think will help you make a breakthrough, because he talked a lot about that, how to make a breakthrough, or if you have made a breakthrough, how do you level up? Because life is all about progress and growth. It really is. And if you don't feel progress, if you don't feel growth, that's when depression, anxiety, that's when we start making bad choices and kind of heading the wrong direction. And he gave us the 3 S's or keys to a breakthrough. Now, where do most people start? They start with strategy, and he said that's wrong, and I can totally relate to that. When somebody signs up for one of my programs, like S7 Wellness, they will say, what do I eat? What workouts should I be doing? And they want the strategy, the foods, the list of proper movements, and all this strategy, and that's great. You do need strategy, and that's why I will always have a career, because I provide that strategy. But you should not start there. Starting with the strategy, answering how do I get in shape or how do I make a breakthrough with my health and body is wrong. And Tony said that you need to start with your story. And I'm looking at my notes that I took from Tony's talk. And he said, the only thing keeping you from what you want is the story you keep telling yourself. Divorce your story first and develop a new story. So I want to give you examples of what I hear, stories I hear. I hear I'm big boned, I've never been able, so that's story number 1, I'm big boned. I've never been able to get under X weight. My whole family struggles with weight. And even if your whole family does struggle with weight, that's saying, well, it's genetically in me to be a bigger person or not hit health and fitness results. I've had people call themselves lazy, and these are the stories, even if they're short, saying, well, my whole family has it. That's a story you're telling yourself. Is that, well, it's genetic, it's in my family, so it's going to be harder. Divorce that story and adopt a new one. And that might look like, if you're talking about your family or genetics, like, hey, I'm going to be the first person in my family that makes a breakthrough with their health and their body. You see the difference there? And it makes so much sense, because when somebody comes into S7 Wellness and they start to take on a new definition, how they define themselves, like, I am a workout guy, I'm a lifter, a client will say, and I know, oh my gosh, this person is changed forever. Or, from a female, I am a workout girl, or I am a food tracker, as I call my clients. Okay, wow. I'm actually changing this person because they're defining themselves different and they're changing their story. And that's where you start. Also, the most powerful, so that's story is the second S, strategy is the first S. You don't want to start with strategy, which is the how do I do it. You also want to change your state and your energy towards whatever you're going to work on. So if you go into something, low energy, kind of negative language about something, well, of course you're not going to do as well. And that's what he had us do in his 6-hour talk. Now, how did he keep us on the edge of the seat? Well, every so many minutes, it's like he just subconsciously knew when to bring up the energy of the room. We would stop. We would jump around. We would do power moves, I think he called them, yeah. And he'd have us yell yes, yes, yes. So I was doing this in the crowd, yes, and jump. And he'd play fun music, and he'd make the sound you would make if you made a major breakthrough. And I was like, ah! And so what was he doing? He was changing our state. Now, you don't have to jump around before every workout, but I think it would help if you started your day by changing your state. Yes, today's going to be a perfect nutrition day. I'm going to do everything I need to, and you jumped around and you cheered about it, you literally did that. Well, of course, you're going to have probably a great day if you change your state. And he said changing your state is the most powerful. And that's how you overcome your mind. He talked about getting in motion to overcome your mind. Sitting down, slouching your shoulders, having this low energy and just being a little bit further down will not change the mind. You have to move. And he talked about energy in motion is emotion. So he really talked a lot about how powerful that can be at changing your life, is changing your state and then changing your story and then worrying about the strategy. You still need the strategy, you just don't want to start there. And that is something I think I'm going to include in my program, is a little lesson on those 3 S's. Because that's what a lot of you are asking. You are reaching out to dietitians, nutritionists, personal trainers, or just fit people online, and you're asking how. You're asking, what do you eat? What workouts do you do? And it's completely wrong. And it's a little bit short term if you're very focused on the how. You're going to lose the weight, maybe. Maybe you are going to lose the weight, but you're going to gain it all back if the number one thing you focus on is the strategy. It is the people, because, I've dedicated my life to figuring out this. You have 2 people. They weigh 300 pounds, or insert your weight. Please insert your weight in this example. You have 2 people. They both weigh 300 pounds. And I've dedicated my life to figuring out why. I've had clients lose 100 pounds and get to 200, and I've had clients starting 300 and then later on they quit, either getting tiny little results that were temporary or they never made progress. What the heck is the difference? And a big difference is these S's. The person that lost 100 pounds and likely kept it off is changing who they are. They are a workout person. They follow these new rules for themselves because it's who they are. Well, I am a person that eats this. I don't eat that, versus all this temporary, like, hey, to get in shape, I'm going to eat broccoli for 3 months. That's what it takes. That's why when somebody wants to split hairs and talk about the difference between white rice and brown rice, I'm like, yeah, eventually let's talk about that. But when you have your story solidified, when you have your story change, you divorce your old story of I'm big boned, I can't get under, X amount of weight. This has always happened to me. It's genetic, my family, all these stories. Then let's worry about strategy. And so I wanted to map that out and see what it would actually take for you to make that breakthrough with your health and body. And that's my challenge to anybody listening to this is, what story are you telling yourself? I don't get too many comments on these podcasts, but I would like to see some comments on that. What is that story? For me in health and fitness, I've always had really good stories. Like I told myself a long time ago that I was an athlete. Growing up, I noticed that I was better than maybe the average person. I'm not like that good, but I was better than the average person at athletics. And so I'm like, okay, I'm an athlete, I guess. And so that carried on through my life. And so I've always just had this good mindset about health and fitness because that's how I define myself as an athlete. And I want to look like an athlete. To look like an athlete, that requires certain nutrition, workouts, everything. Now, the stories I needed to divorce were related to business, were related to my career. I was good at the health and fitness, not at business and career. Because for the first couple of years, this story started in college. In college, I wanted to kind of do my own thing on the side. Going to college felt weird to me. It just didn't feel like me. But what I was telling myself was, well, I'm not like a business owner. That's for somebody that's like better than me, braver than me. That's for somebody that's smarter than me. And so that's the first story I had to overcome, is that, hey, I could do this too. I deserve this just like anybody else. And so I did overcome that, because then I started trying little things, and then I started trying bigger things, and here I am today. So I did overcome that story. But when I overcame that first story, then there was other stories that I needed to overcome. And some of those were like, probably, I don't even know if this was one, but it could have been related to family. Kind of like the genetic one with health and fitness. Mine was related to family. Like, there wasn't anybody in my family or people that I was close to that started their own thing. You know what I mean? And I include like being a franchisee. There wasn't anybody that started their own company and stuff like that. So I felt like maybe, it wasn't in me because I didn't come from something like that. I knew people that did like franchisee type things, but not their own thing. And so that was probably a story I had to overcome as well. And then the biggest one I had to overcome, which sneaks back in, it definitely sneaks in, but I think I have it more in control, is a story of I'm a failure. And that one can really hold you back, because what happens is you go to start. For me, I would start a business, and things would go really well. I would be really excited, and then the first hurdle would come up, the first problem. And in business, there's always problems that you have to overcome, always. It is business, is overcoming these problems. And the first one would show up that would be a little bit challenging, and my story would pop into my head. See, I told you you're a failure and can't do this. You're not a business owner. And I'd quit. I'd run and hide, so to speak. I'd shut off the business. I'd delete the Facebook page. I'd shut off all these things, and I'd hide. I'd run away. And then I'd start a new thing later, and the same thing would happen. It would be a new hurdle, a problem I have never seen before would happen, and I would stop and run and hide, and hey, you're a failure would run into my head. Now, S7 Wellness is probably the 14th or 15th thing I tried. Now, that doesn't, I kind of hesitate on saying that, because I don't want anybody to think I am a bad business owner. I learned so much from my failures. I learned so much from what I did wrong that now S7 Wellness is going well because of all of these experiences. And it's because of this story I divorced. I don't think I'm a failure. I overcome problems because when you overcome a problem, you feel really good and things continue on. And another problem approaches and you're like, hey, I solved that plateau or that problem. And now I think I'm a little bit stronger. I can overcome this one. And you start to stack little wins like that. Because plateaus and problems always happen. It's the people that overcome them. And so that's the difference between two clients that start at 300. Let's say they have the same exact life. They have the same job. They both have 2 kids. Why in the world does someone lose 100 pounds, which I've helped multiple clients do, lose 100 plus pounds? And then that other person loses 18 pounds, gains it all back, or they never got any results. And it's that right there. It's the story. It's the story you have to divorce. So please leave it in the comments. What story do you have to divorce? Or if that's kind of sensitive, because I know me talking about my failure story is a little bit sensitive. So if that's too sensitive, please leave in the comments or message me. What story do you want to adopt? What's your new story? And that is huge. That is absolutely life-changing. Is these stories that are holding you back. You overcome them with new stories. That's it. I hope you got something out of this. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for following me. And thank you for the kind messages from those of you that appreciate these. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in.